Hi everyone, it's me, Chuck. I know things have been really confusing around here, what with spin-offs and other worlds, and it's all just been a big mess. So don't worry, I'm going to clean it all up for you now with Crisis on Infinite Earths. What do you mean the CW's already got one of those? Son of a bitch! This is one of those I like to call a workhorse episode, where it's really about getting everything that you need and putting it in the right place and moving the characters around so you can get everything in position for the plot to continue. Chuck even outright tells us the idea is to wrap up loose ends. For example, failed spin-offs, like the Wayward sisters. Episodes like this are fine. I do at least appreciate that the show is trying to explain and set things up, even if some of the parts now don't make a lot of sense. They reveal that Jack was returned without his soul. I had thought that what we saw in the Big Empty was his soul. It went there after being destroyed. So again, what went to the Big Empty if he had no soul? And if Jack is supposed to kill and replace Chuck, is it really that much of an improvement for him to be soulless? That may not be much of an improvement. I'm starting to suspect whether the writers have really thought everything here through. In a previous video, I brought up the old Monty Python argument sketch. For those who forget, you have a guy, he just goes into this room and requests an argument with the person there, and whatever the first guy says, the other guy just automatically replies with the opposite. He's like, I'd like to have an argument. No, you don't. Yes, I do. No, you don't. It goes on like that. It's a classic for a reason. And part of the humor in that sketch is that one guy wants to have a proper debate and exchange of ideas, while the other person in question just takes the immediate contrary position of whatever he says. I keep bringing it up in these episodes because it seems like so many writers today have taken what was comedy as a serious guideline. Where does drama come from? Drama comes from conflict. But how do you get conflict? Apparently, the current method is to just have one character perform contradiction to another. If one says the sky is blue, the other says that it isn't. If one says let's go left, the other one says to go right. But that's not actual drama. That's just contradiction. Or I like to frequently call it bickering. Real emotional drama comes from conflicts that arise organically from the characters. And what do I mean by organic? I define it as a position that arises logically from a character's motivations. And the motivation of, I hate X, so I'll do the opposite of whatever X wants. That does not count. A character should have a concrete goal and then logical reasons to believe they are working towards that goal. Note that this doesn't mean the character can't be wrong, but you have to think about why they are wrong. This is why I believe the original spin-off or effort with Wayward sisters failed, because it didn't have drama, it just had bickering. Let's take the scene where Patience had a vision about the monsters attacking the house. You can read the transcript below. As you can see, there's no real argument between her and Claire. Patience just says, we need to leave, and Claire says, I don't wanna. Claire doesn't make a point that they could use their knowledge of the house and the territory and the surrounding territory to set up a defensive perimeter. And Patience's counter is mostly just complaining about her state in life. There's no logical counterpoint to Claire's ideas. There's no drama, there's just bickering. Likewise, in this episode, we get another serving of this. Alternate Kaya doesn't bother to approach any of our heroes and bring up their deal or even reveal that her other self is in danger. She just starts attacking Jody and then beating up on our boys. And in the end, Billy shows up and chews out our protagonist for not seeing the big picture. Well, I'm sorry, but how can these characters be expected to see the big picture if nobody bothers explaining things to them? They had to hear about the plot from Jack a character that could be an unreliable narrator from the boys' perspectives. You know, Billy, maybe if you'd shown up earlier and bothered to explain the goal outline to everyone, maybe kind of give them like an action plan PowerPoint, maybe then they would be able to better play along, or at least not risk screwing everything up. But no, nobody ever bothers to just try and have a conversation, to even start off going, hey, could you get me home? Well, I don't know, but my other version's still alive over there and she's gonna die. Oh, well, now we'll have to work on a solution. Or, hey, Death, you want us to behave? Maybe you should tell us what we need to be doing. Nope, they're just told they have a part to play and no further details. This isn't good writing. This is just like a bunch of toddlers yelling at each other. Well, I am still not thrilled about Chuck's portrayal this season. His brief monologue about the boys early in the episode did have a nugget of profound thought about free will and what it means. C.S. Lewis once described free will as a miracle by which omniscience allows itself to be beaten. Or, as we might put it from this episode, it's the miracle by which the divine allows itself to be surprised. Well, I'm not much of a theologian, but it's a concept I really wish this season had chosen to focus on exploring rather than just God throwing a tantrum. And as Chuck was watching the other worlds and eliminating them, and that was something I thought his sister was all about. Anyway, it did make me wonder, why isn't Chuck picking the Sams and Deans from these other worlds and bringing them in to fight our favorite version? If he wants to watch them kill each other, that would be the most obvious method to accomplish it. Of course, the real answer to that question is budget. Still, I do like to dream about a Sam and Dean fighting an army of Sams and Deans. I just don't get why whenever these spin-offs end up showing up, everyone involved just takes a level and bitch an asshole. It's part of the supernatural writing that I hate the most. We've seen almost everyone in this episode act like adults and demonstrate some ability to communicate. That used to be what Sam was known for. So the bickering in this episode just really left a sour aftertaste for me. Along with it being both kind of overstuffed with too many ideas and underexamined and not really looking at anything. It ended up being overflowing and empty. All of that just really pushes down the score for this episode, so I can only give it 2 out of 5. Well, 8 episodes to go.